Hi, my name is Nasha, some of you guys know me as Siobhan, and this is Spurs Video Podcast. I'm coming to you in a rather Ledley King-like way. Some unknown reason my left knee swelled up like a balloon on Sunday night, and so here I am laid up. Quick shout out to Afghan Spur on Twitter. If you guys don't follow him, please follow him now, or her, or them. Basically, I think these are group of soldiers and armed forces, and they're based out in Afghanistan. And I've never met these guys, but I remember when I was Junior Olympics last year, I met some soldiers, and I was just like, wow, I shook it, and made sure I shook each one of these guys' hands, because to go out, to make sacrifices these guys do, to defend the lives of people they've never met and probably never going to, it's something I can never do. So fair play to them. I'm gonna touch on a few touch up for my Jimmy Savile. Yeah, I was gonna say something about Arsene Wenger, but given that'd be hypocritical of me. I don't particularly like those comments. I suppose I suppose the difference is, I think, again, I don't think it's not something I really go with. Arsene Wenger is not Jimmy Savile in no stretch of words, but people were shot and killed in Adebayor. That actually did happen. That's a very traumatic experience. And when the Arsenal fans say shot and goal should have been you, you're reminding him of a time where his friends, were shot and killed in front of him. So, if you want to be that classy, go for it. I actually think the Jimmy Savile remarks and the pedo remarks make Arsene Wenger are completely wrong and shouldn't be said. But yeah, and you know what? Probably we said it, and they thought, they'd respond, or it's just, where does it end? Anyhow, I'm going to touch on a few things, and let's go from there. First of all, Gary Neville spoke about the High Line, how he thought it was roulette, and how it was very suicidal. I disagree with that. I think our defence, alright, we're not exactly speedsters. Not every single player in there has got the speed of Carl Walker, but Dawson aside, these guys are fast and average. These aren't what you call, they're not perimeter attackers. They are mobile. Maybe not Dawson, but, and he goes, look, it's about the organisation, about the communication. And I looked at that and I thought, you know what, he's right. One thing, you can do the High Line if you drill it right, and if you drill it right, then it can work. And for me, like I said, the High Line depends on the fact that, you know what, if I'm a left back, it has to be our centre half. Centre half has to lead, and whether it's Dawson, Vertonghen, or it's Kabul when he's back, or Gallas, or Kolka, one of the guys has to spot the danger and say, do you know what, I spot the danger. That's I'm seeing, not in my watching where you are. I'm the danger. I'm going to step up, and that's instantaneously when all the other that's when all the other players step up. If I can't see a player in a white shirt, to my left or right in the same line, in my line, therefore I'm either too deep. I'm too deep. You know, especially if I can see them ahead of me, I'm too deep. I need to push up. So, so definitely something that can be drilled, and I'd break it down into couple things. When I used to play basketball in school, one of the things we were taught was that we'd be made to do wind sprints, and then do practice our free shooting. Invariably, like, we wanted to be NBA stars. But the whole idea was that when you're tired and you're fatigued, your technique will fail. Secondly, when you are, so that's when you really try and reinforce the idea of good technique, good coordination, everything. And that's because then when you are under pressure, such as in a competitive game, whether it be a school game or in the in a Premiership, that technique, that ability holds under pressure. So that's something that I would introduce. That if we are going to drill, the High Line, we introduce that. The second thing I would like to introduce is that if you look at, say, I'm going to talk about again the armies and anyone that really marches in formation, whether it be dance, chorus lines, or anyone, they have to move to a line and they have to move as one. So I'm sure Andre Villas first thought about it, but how about that? We contact Spurs. I think should contact think outside the box and actually contact you know, whether it's military guys or whatever, because if you look at it, they have to move in formation. They have to move swiftly as one in formation, you know, and you know, obviously they have to shout signals and stuff like that, or if they're approaching, what, well, I don't know, if they're doing a stealth kind of like a 0 dark 30 kind of thing, you know, they have to move formation, you know, they have to be very aware and communicate very well. And these are guys that, you know, are drugged. They may have met for the very first time. They may know each other, you know, their entire army life. But I just think that it's why I remember from the Olympics, especially from the cycling, were those marginal gains. Someone who I'm not a huge fan of motorsports. My sister from another mister, Karina, she loves her Formula One. I don't get it, but she loves it. But one of the things that I remember was that Michael Schumacher, is that he would invest so much time getting that extra tiny thousandth of a second out of his car. Thousandth, a hundredth, a tenth, half a second. You know? And you know, over time he got that car to be where it needed to be, and he was able to get that advantage. And I think it's those combination of that marginal gain. So that's something I'd like to do. It's not a huge amount, it's just a case of, look, we are playing a high line, how can we improve it? And that's how I'd improve it. First of all, have a clear command structure. That's the first thing, and I think we've got that at Dawson and Tongan. Secondly, have a trigger of like, when do we know the high line isn't working? Well, obviously if you can't see each other, that's when you know that straight line that Gary Neville talked about isn't there. That's when I'd have it. And the third thing, well, that's great, how do we improve that? How do we improve what we're doing already? Well, do you know what? Be open, think outside the box. You know, maybe run wind sprints before you drill, you know, these highline practices. Maybe, again, try and make the exercises that the defenders do, especially very complicated towards the end. So then, you know, when they are mentally fatigued and or physically fatigued, we can really see how they cope under that pressure. And the fourth thing would be, you know what, look outside the box. Look how other you know, people in other industries, where they, you know, the idea of moving you know, 3 or 4, even more people as one is actually vital to what they do, whether it be dancers or even if that's military formation. That's just something that I would look to work upon, and that's just an idea that I had anyway, and that's what I'll share with you guys. A couple of ideas have been flown about and on spursforum.co.uk. Also check out spursodyssey.com. It's a fantastic site, both week and message boards. And obviously on the day that we played the Goons, there was talk about some Arabs going to buy them for £1.5 billion. Arsenal are a very attractive investment. They've got 100 million in cash. I believe, although the stadium isn't completely paid for, it soon will be or something. I don't know how that's going to work. And obviously this new TV revenue deal, I think, if memory serves, Man City won X amount for winning the league last season. Next season, the bottom club, even to get relegated, will win the same amount of money from this domestic TV deal as Man City or Man United will win for, you know, this season's winning the Premier League title. So that when you look at that kind of revenue, it's no surprise that you think, well, I'm going to get in this, I want to be a part of this. So then you have to look at, well, how much they're going to put in, how much they're going to take out. We've seen in something like, say, Man United, the Glazers have taken consultancy fees, they've taken payments because they own it. If it's their house, they can do with it as they will, you know, because they own it outright. And that's a worry. Do we really want some wealthy, I don't know, Arab, Russian, I don't know, Ukrainian or whoever to come in, buy us, and pump loads of money in, and allow us to compete right now on a financial term with the wages and transfer fees with the likes of your Man Cities, your Angies, your PSGs. And there's a lot of debate. I mean, obviously, I want to win trophies. I really do. And who doesn't? But for me, I don't like the idea of this financial doping. I really don't. Those of you who don't know this, but there was a Spurs, if you looked at the Spurs show, Stevie Perrin was on that. And he basically spoke about, you know what, in his time, just before Spurs got relegated, there's a lot of shady practices going on transfers. And, you know, Spurs decided, we're not doing any of this, you know, rightly or wrongly. I believe rightly. And Spurs weren't able to get the level of play they needed. They fell away, and they ended up getting relegated. And I just thought, you know what, I believe in doing it the right way. It's naive, you know, but you know what, I wouldn't want some wealthy guy buying us and using us as playthings. If you look at what's happened with Roman Abramovich, yeah, he owns the club, and yeah, he's done loads of things for it. Champions League, FA Cup, League titles, and he's transformed them. I mean, people forget they were like 100 or 75 million pounds in debt, huge amount of debt. The Chelsea Village project hadn't come off, and not only that, they would talk about them having to sell John Terry to Arsenal. You know, obviously when he came, it changed everything. From being able to have to sell their best players, they were able to buy some of the best players. Fast forward say 5-6 years, you see Man City, buying some of the best players. I mean, they hadn't even qualified for the Champions League, and they're able to pay Yaya Toure £200 a week. Now Yaya's an amazing player. I think he's fantastic, but I think you've had these incredible paradigm shifts. Me personally, and then you got Arsene Wenger saying, well, I want to do things the right way. I want to develop talent. I don't want to get into this competition with them. And because he's not going to win this. If he puts, let's say he puts in a bid, let's say he put a bid in for say, I don't know, 15 million for Rodwell, just as an example. I'm not saying it was once Jack Rodwell, if he'd done that, Man City being prepared to pay say 17 million. That way, that anyone knows that they are willing to pay 15 million for Jack Rodwell. Guess what? They'll be willing to pay that much plus the Arsenal percentage for this player. And it just gets crazy and it inflates. So that's the one thing. From a financial point of view, I wouldn't want to switch Stadion because as Chelsea found out, look, they pay high prices, but they have to pay. People know they've got an incredible amount of money behind them, so they just think, shit, I'll ask for it. The second thing is, for me personally, I don't think we need to do that. We're a very well-run club. Yes, we are owned by a billionaire, but he doesn't treat us like oh, I'm gonna, I remember when Jack Walker basically gave Blackburn a ton of money, and they won the league title. Great, but obviously there's no way Jack Walker, I think he's bought about 400 million. There's no way he could have competed with say the Abramoviches or the guys from Abu Dhabi. There's no way he could have done that. And for me personally, I'd rather do things the right way. I mean, I hate Arsenal. I really despise them with God knows every fibre I've been. There's a restaurant that I went to one time, and when I saw a guy was an Arsenal fan, and he had all these pictures of him with Arsene Wenger and Sol Campbell, all those guys. I said, that's it. I'm never eating this restaurant ever again. Absolutely not. And rightly, say what you will, but I just refused to eat in that restaurant. So if you want to find that restaurant is, I ain't gonna get sued for it, but PM me and I'll tell you. It's good food though. I'll have to give the guy that. But Arsenal are doing things the right way, and Man United, yes, they are massively in debt, but that's only because that was placed upon them by the Glazers, to buy the club in the first place. It wasn't anything they've done to, yes, they've got an incredibly massive salary, wage bill, but that's because they've got a revenue stream. I mean, Man United is such a global brand. I mean, they are probably one of the wealthiest clubs in the world. I mean, I think only Real Madrid are wealthier. Their brand is just all encompassing. So I'd rather do it that way. I'd rather us have that great brand. We play that great football. People want to support Spurs because because we're winning, but because we're winning the right way. We're not trying to buy success. It's for me, and the Chelsea fans can say I'm bitter and stuff like that, but for me, it's kind of like you're an athlete. You go out and you buy a trophy and you put it in your house because you might as well have done. You've got the money. You got out and bought the trophy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I respect anyone that puts the effort in, because they haven't bought it. They had to play hard, and But at the end of the day, the Chelsea fans know that before 2003, they were doing all right. They won the European Cup, the FA Cup. But obviously, that was from a guy called Matthew Harding that had given them a huge cash injection. Few people do often overlook what Matthew Harding had done for the club. If you look again, what Abramovich has done, massive cash injection, absolutely humongous cash injection. They've gone up and gone forward. From that. So for me, it's not something I would do, but again, fair play to you if you want to. It's not something for me. I believe that it's not just, again, if we're going to talk about the legacy of Bill Nicholson, the glory isn't about the winning. It's about doing things in the right way. You know, I would rather, fail gloriously than win, just, playing mediocre. The game is about glory. And if you're going to do glory, you want to look back and think, you know what, we earned that. We may have only won the Carling Cup in the last, 10 years, and which is, the last, I don't know, 7 years or so, which is still more than Arsenal have won in the last 7 years, but 7, 8 years, but still, not done pointing fingers. At least I can say, we earned that Carling Cup. We weren't the best team in the land, and yes, we bought Berbatov, and we spent our money, but it was not as if we weren't such massive the debt to buy these players or to pay their wages. And you know what? For about 120 odd minutes, with Team Mitani pointing at the screen to see the score, and remember that moment? We competed with a team that conceivably could have won the Champions League that year. That's how close it was. And I like to think that we can do that. I think we can went about it the right way, and I think that League Cup, maybe only the Carling Cup, but you know what? I think we won it the right way. So that's just my personal thoughts on it. Player of the signing of the season. Again, love to hear your thoughts. Obviously, if you want to look at Gareth Bale, how can you not? I mean, the guy, the last 6-7 games has been so dominant. 5 consecutive league games. If he scores against Liverpool, I think he breaks the record or something. It's just incredible. Spurs record, and his scoring is just off the chart. But I think we are more than Gareth Bale. I mean, Yamatoglu was man of the match. Hugo Lloris, great article on Just Football, and really check it out. And I'll post the link up as well. Talks about how important he is. I mean, don't get me wrong, Brad Friedel had done an amazing job, but it's kind of like, I have a smartphone. I had a good phone before. Now I've got a smartphone. I can't imagine living life with my regular cell phone. I just can't. And I think that's the same thing. I love Brad Friedel. I thought he was very, very good. But now we've got Brad Friedel with his, he's very good. He reads the game well. He's very quick to come off his line and, get the ball. Allows us to play that high line. And again at Chelsea, AVB can do that. And here he's adapted, and he's managed it. In the day, he said, look, Brad Friedel, was played very well last week. I'm not aiming to drop the guy because, I thought he's a new goalkeeper. He has to earn his chance. And guess what? He did earn his chance, and now he's in there. Imagine if he'd had God knows how many howlers where he rushed out and did I forgot what it was, a Higuita-like moment or something, Everyone remembers that. I always remember that Higuita moment in the Italian 90. That was always really funny. What you meant to dispossess them, and you see Higuita like pumping away, running after him. It's just hilarious. But imagine if you'd had that moment. I just think he'd sort of constantly shot. He comes in. It's a new environment. I don't know how much English Hugo Lloris spoke. He may speak perfect English, but it's a new environment. It's a new culture. There's a lot of expectation on him. You know what? I'm going to deflect it a little bit. I'm going to let him settle in the Europa League. Let him get to find his teammates, let him to learn how to play with them. Because let's face it, I remember that was, was a time when I think he threw a ball at Benteke or something that could have easily gone in. These kind of mistakes can make or break a goalkeeper. So I have to give a lot of credit to AVB. And I was really harsh on AVB. I saw him as a Chelsea reject. Not that I was a Harry fan. I wouldn't say I was a Harry lover. I was always grateful to Harry for what he did. But that flirtation with England, that for me, and us losing third place, alright, nothing Harry's done about fourth. I mean, that was out of our hands, but it shouldn't have got to that far. It should not have got that far. And, I'll always blame Harry Redknapp for that. I think we had the verge of building something very, very big. And you know what? He didn't show his loyalty. And you know what? Loyalty is an outdated concept anyway, I guess, in football, because, you know what? We fired him, but we don't want him to show loyalty. He didn't show it to us, and then all of a sudden he wants us to show loyalty, and we say, nope, you know what? We're not going to show it to you. AVB comes in, he was expecting loyalty from his chairman, previous chairman Roman Abramovich, didn't get it, and he was fired. And the thing is, it's really weird. There's a really good article called Premier League Out, and if you remember that thing about the mutiny that Spurs players are having, and even he said, I made a mistake. I cocked it up. Michael Dawson, I made mistakes. I made a mistake, and I was very lucky. Would Michael Dawson have started if Eunice Cabral had been fit? I don't know. But and again, obviously it's sad that Eunice Cabral, got injured. He was one of our better defenders last season. But sadly, he did get injured, and Michael Dawson was able to step in the breach. And they're different defenders. I mean, Eunice Cabral is a beast of a defender. He's very quick, as Dom said. He's one of apparently as quick as Lennon or Bay or something, which kind of makes sense. If you look at Usain Bolt, I mean, like, he's a 100-meter sprinter or something. Like 6'3" or something. So it makes sense that he's got that incredible kind of speed. And Dawson's different. He's more of a traditional, English centre half. Get in your face, vocal, great leadership, real character. Now, he may not be the best defender in the world, but he's got a line heart, and sometimes you need that. Against Andy Carroll, I mean, Andy Carroll scored against West Ham, but you know what? He didn't really trouble us the way you would expect. If say you put Gallas in there, I mean, I remember seeing Gallas getting absolutely bullied the crap out of by, Romelu Lukaku. I just don't think that, he would have been able to have done that to, say, Dawson. Dawson's 6'2", 6'3". He may not be the quickest, but maybe he's developed that extra yard in his head that Teddy Sheringham had, and he reads the game a lot better now. I don't know. Speaking of pace, here's something, and I'm just mentioning Usain Bolt. I don't know if Spurs players are doing that already, but we're obviously extremely lightning fast. You gotta wonder if they actually are getting sprint coaches in, because I know we do a lot of, say, ball work. A lot of work is with the ball, and hopefully we do targeting possession. Sometimes, just because one player has the ball means the other players don't. And I wonder if we do that sprint coaching, and maybe we should look to bring in sprint coaches to say, look, I'm not saying these guys into sprinters. Obviously, they're not starting from track. They have to go twist, very soon. But I need these guys to, when they are going in a straight line, to be as quick as they possibly can be over, say, 10, 20, 50. And look, what can you do to help our players, A, do that, and B, what other protocols can you introduce to make them less injured? And I don't think it's wrong to look to other sports and say, look, what can we learn from other sports? It's just a thought, just what I had anyway. So thank you for listening to YouShubes Video Podcast. Apologies that Dom is not part of this. The guy is, he's really, he's a really busy guy, and hopefully he'll be back very, very soon. But thank you for listening to this. I'd love to hear, from some of the guys like Sue Spurs, Major Hank, Triple KL. And here's a thought. I would like to talk about Hugo Lloris as being, I wouldn't say, I don't know, in terms of player of the season, I wasn't there with Sandro. I thought he was magnificent until his injury. Sadly, he's injured. It's hard to say who would you be your player of the season, but for me, I don't know. I think for Tongan still, I mean, if he continues this run of form to do as well as he has, to come from, like I said, different league, physically not as, demanding as the Premiership, to done as well as he has, and especially Lloris. I think, I'm not too sure when he was phased in over Brad Friedel, because obviously, I think it must have been, let's say, November-ish time, but since he's come in, we haven't really lost that many games. I think the last game we lost was in the league was against Everton, and that would have been beginning of December. So we've come a long way since then. Let's just see how this train ride goes. But I think Hugo Lloris has done a lot for our team, and I thank him for it, and I thank him for his patience. And I'm very interested to hear if any French Spurs fans, what is Deschamps saying about the form that Lloris is showing for Spurs, because he had a lot to say when Lloris wasn't playing. I don't know what he's going to say now that Lloris is playing so well. So for me, player of the season, I'm going to go with, say, either Baton, and again Dawson. I think for someone to be told that I don't think he'll be playing, and he's now, I wouldn't say he's a linchpin of that team. That's more, I think, Bale, Lloris, Dembele, Lennon, those guys. He's become a very important part of that team. I think shown a lot of character, and who knows, he could be player of the season again. I haven't really made up my mind yet. There's 10 games to go. Obviously, we've got the Inter Milan game tomorrow. So, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to me, and Please, if you get a chance, check out virginmoneygiving.com/Shabon. The link is on the info page. I'm hopefully assuming, and this is the knee, by the way. This is that horrible knee. If you compare it, bloated, not bloated. You know, that's the knee. You know, that's why I'm kind of laid up at the moment. But hopefully I will be running soon in October, and very soon. I've did a half marathon, and hopefully this knee will be sorted, and I'll be running and kickboxing and jiu-jitsuing and everything else. So but check it out, Virgin Money. I'm doing it for the health charity Mind, and appreciate it. I've had a lot of support from a lot of Spurs fans, and would love to get support from you guys. Anyone else, please share it out. And definitely, if you get a chance, check out Zeph online. He's fantastic. He's an exceptional musician, very, very gifted music. Definitely check out Victim. And last shout out, newspaper friend of mine, Arnold Obrotov. I'm really bad at pronouncing his name. He's a Muay Thai champion. He's based out in the KO Bloodline Gym in Clapton. Very good kickboxer. He's taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful to him. So check those guys out. And as always, come on, you Spurs. And that's no Ultimate Tally.